Weekend nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry icy's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune it in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Turnipple, and as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, unless I'm on a remote, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave, and the Ice Cave is brought to you by Priority Lawn and Landscaping. It is definitely sunny out here. It's not California sunny like the Godfather is, but it's sunny enough for Ohio where the grass is going to start growing. You're going to need to get it cut. You got flower beds you want to get cleaned out. You got shrubbery, flowers, retaining wall, whatever. Any landscaping project you need to get done, or you just don't want to do it, you get Priority Lawn and Landscaping to take care of it for you. You can give them a call at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. And do me a favor, if you message them on Facebook or call them, tell them Ice sent you. What is up to everybody in the chat? If I get my mouse to work and it doesn't want to work now, I think get over here. Go, there you go. What's up? Oh, come on, go away. Go away. Priority Lawn Landscape wants to really be promoted today. There we go. All right, what's up to everybody in the chat? I even had the mouse moving over there. Let's see here. We got, wow, it's blowing up. I like it. Stranger's in there. Brad's in there. Ken's in there. Tony Blaze is in there. Lindsay's in there. Robert, Paul, and Holmes. What's going on, guys? All right, so news that came out while I was on Bengals and Bruges for a little bit. Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, all these guys reported that they are very, very close to signing Jamar and T. So we might have a joint press conference hopefully tonight or tomorrow announcing both these guys signing. I reached out to my buddy Jesse James, who's an NFL free agent, or NFL, he's not NFL, he's an NFL agent. He broke down some stuff. Hopefully he can join us during the show. I don't know, but he broke down some of the numbers for me, what that those contracts might look like. But we have a very special guest. He is one of the OG podcasters. You guys know him. He's the Godfather, Anthony Cosenza. What's up, AC?
I love the passion on the intro. Hey man, I was gonna come on and I have my 311 shirt on. I've got my Aloha hat because I was gonna come on. I'm like, hey, we gotta just get some relaxing vibes going. There's not enough news. Let's calm down. Yeah. And lo and behold, of course, when I'm at the gym, my lone solace time of the day, the news comes through. So hey, we're something is heading in the right direction.
Something is heading in the right direction. That is true. So I mean, I can pop these up here real quick. This is what Jesse James kind of gave me some stuff here. I don't totally understand all this, to be honest. I'll be honest here. But if you guys can read that, says Higgins, Bengals lower AAV. There's the years, his age 26 to 30. Base 15, 11, 15, 21. He's a bonus game. Like I said, there's a salary cap hits. There's the bigger ones. So, like I said, they got that one. And what's this one here?
Well, if you go back to Higgins real quick, I don't know if you can go back, but you see those first 2 years as the projected cap hit, those are less than what the franchise tag he would be playing on this year as the cap hit. So, yeah.
Now, these are just projections from Jesse. This is not anything.
Right. But if those projected numbers come true, those would be both lower than the franchise tag hit this year.
Let me see if he's got. Is this Jamar's? No, it's Higgins this year. It looks like it's all. He's got all Higgins. Yep.
Okay.
So unless that one's Jamar's, but he didn't have the name on it there.
There isn't a name on that.
Yeah, he cut the name off.
Yeah,
when he sent it to me. So,
but you look at that last year of the cap hit. I'm assuming that might be Jamar. What he's maybe
right.
What he's doing, because I mean that's a $44 million cap hit. I think that's what he's. I think that's what that is. But yeah.
So anyway, I mean it's news. And now the other thing he talked to me about on the phone too, which I thought was interesting, because I've been on the Tevin Jenkins train, and he said, and from what he's heard, or whatever, they are more worried about his injuries. And I think most teams are. That's why he's going to Seattle, so they're going to have their doctors look at him. He said keep an eye out for Mekhi Becton. He's like, he doesn't think that's dead yet. I said, really? I said, because he came in last year and nothing happened. He goes, well,
right.
From what he heard is that he was looking to be guaranteed a starting right guard job, and the Bengals didn't want to do that because they thought they were going to draft Mims or a right guard. So he bounced and went to the Eagles, and they offered him he wanted a starting tackle position. I get it right, but he bounced and went to Philadelphia, and they offered him a starting guard for the same money, and he said, all right, and it worked out great. So he said keep that in mind. I don't know. I mean, that Becton, to be honest, I kind of thought Becton was out the door and gone, and this is just Jesse James talking. I mean, it's some stuff he's heard or whatever. Becton wouldn't be bad. If you get him at guard, we'd have a freaking giant ass line. I would take that. And I want 2 guards. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they might just sign one and go with Cody Ford or at the other guard, or draft one. I don't know. But those are just the stuff that I've heard. What's your thoughts on all of the Becton thing there, AC?
The Becton thing is interesting to me because there were some reports, I think, earlier this week saying, yeah, that's not really going to happen. And quite honestly, if you go back to the history with Becton when he was drafted by the Jets, that's when Frank Pollock was there. And then Frank Pollock was here in Cincinnati last year when they brought him in and showed some interest. So that kind of surprises me a little bit, but maybe now they could see a, somewhat reliable guy that could come in and start as a veteran guy and not have to draft, be desperate to draft right away. I think when you look at what the Bengals may do at both guard spots, I'm looking at it. If you went 2 veterans, I think they need to get 3 guards between an early-ish pick in the draft and two more veteran guys. And so I would look at if you're going to go the Becton route and not Brandon Scherf, or you're not going Tevin Jenkins, you can go Becton right guard, and then maybe you look at a guy like Dalton Reisner. I don't think he's been picked up yet. Kind of a mercenary guy, how he signs contracts. He's just kind of hangs out there, waits his time, and then he's like, oh yeah, I'll come in, pop and play and be effective. So you could have then him come in at the left guard. You have Cordell Volson coming off the bench, and you feel maybe a little bit better about the depth overall. You have Cody Ford that can kind of play all over the place if you need him to. And then you have Becton. He could also be a swing tackle if there's, an emergency situation there as well. So you're kind of killing a lot of birds with a couple of stones there. And then maybe I'm all over Tate Ratledge in the draft. Maybe round 2, round 3, something like that.
We just did a mock draft with Bengals and Brews, and we drafted
What round? Second?
I don't know, because when I was on the show with them, all the news hit, so I'm trying to change the name of the show a little bit, and I had to change it, so I don't remember what round we drafted. Pork chops.
Yeah, you went from what the hell are we doing to oh wow,
holy shit,
look what they're doing. Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah. So I had to change it a little bit. But I had I don't know if you saw the thumbnail. I had such an epic thumbnail with mine and your faces on there. I couldn't
it was good. It was good.
I had to keep this. I had added T and Jamar and That was a quick change about 30 minutes ago. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's one thing I was asking Jesse too, and it sounds like a Bengals move. Were they waiting to get these two deals settled before they really knew how much money they'd have in free agency so they could go ahead and sign some more people? And he said, in his opinion, was yes. Now he said, he told me the number. Both of them, I want to say 70 million combined. I think that's
the numbers are about 40 million for Chase, AAV, and 28 to 30, I think, for Higgins. Yeah.
So, and I am not. Don't hold me to the numbers. I screw numbers up a lot, but I think that's about where they're talking about. So if you get this deal done, and the more and more it sounds like Trey Hendrickson is coming back, because dude, if anybody thought the Bengals were just going to give Trey away, you were nuts. I mean, I mean, when they first started talking about trading Trey, which I hate, I don't want to trade him. I've said you got to at least get a second. But then, according to James Rapine, and I think that Rosario, or whatever her name is, from ESPN, said that the agent told the Bengals they could get a first round pick. Now, Bengals want first, second, third, and they want a whole bunch of stuff. Which, if you trade Trey Hendrickson, you're gonna give me a lot of stuff to get him. He's the best pass rusher in the league. But with that being said, I think there's a better chance of Trey signing back here with Cincinnati because he wants to be here. I mean, he said it multiple times. So it's looking like everybody's gonna be back in the fold. I don't think we're getting any more on the defense. I mean, no impact players or free agency, but I think it's gonna be more guard. I've been hammering that the last 3 days. Guard. We got to get a guard. What do you think we're done in free agency as far as defense goes, AC?
No, I mean, I think they'll still probably add some role player pieces. Nothing.
Yeah, but no impact guys. Yeah,
I don't think there's going to be the super splash. And I mean, 5 days into free agency now, the super splashy guys are largely gone anyway. But I think they're going to look interior, but probably interior both lines. I know they already dressed the interior of the defensive line with Slayton, and I said this earlier regarding Trey. I told someone on the down low on Monday, and I didn't want to say it out loud. Then I think we went live on our show on Tuesday, and I said it on Tuesday night. I had a feeling that Trey was going to stay. I didn't think that there was going to be, number one, like you said. He's been saying publicly, this is where I want to be. This is where I want to be. Number two, he's not a free agent.
No,
he has a year. He has a year left on the deal.
Paul Pater's going to love you saying that in the chat because that's what Paul Pater's been saying in the chat all the time. He's not a free agent. Like, you're right.
It's not like a deal or he's an impending free agent, a franchise tag situation, all this kind of stuff. It's he has a deal in place and he has another year on the contract. And so the Bengals, I think, if they are doing this, I mean, you kind of look at it almost like maybe they did play this a little bit right and asking for so much in terms of reportedly of draft picks because they're like, we're going to keep this guy. Now, we'll see what happens. Stranger things can happen. I still think now that more and more time has passed that he that he stays with the Bengals there. Yeah. And what I don't know is if he is going to play on this deal that he currently has in place, or if the Bengals will offer him an extension. That's what I'm not sure about, and what that extension would look like. I would assume it would probably nothing more than 2 years or so.
Right. Which would make it 3 on top of the one they already have.
Yeah. So, and I think you need him because we can say, hey, good news today about T and Jamar, and a couple of nice role player moves on defense in terms of Burks and Slayton and having P. Ryan back. You could say, but they're not, when you look at it, the roster right now, as opposed to last year, how much better are you? How much have you improved? Your guards,
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, really what I think they did the first couple of days in free agency is they just focused, even though they're role players, they focused on fundamental basic things. You got additional pass protection and versatility out of the running back spot with P. Ryan, and then tackling, stopping the run with a big nose tackle. And Burks is known as a sure tackler and a guy that can come in and do some different things. So that's where I think they focused for the most part. And then
Mhm.
they focused, obviously, the heavy focus on the 2-star wide receivers. I do think that's a little bit of a weak excuse, though, for a front office. If you're saying,
Oh,
well,
it is.
we were just so tied up with
But
these wide receiver contracts that we couldn't
is.
get, focus on other. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but if that is truly the case, I think that's a really weak excuse.
Oh, I totally agree with you, because you knew where the money was. You knew where
Yeah.
Trey wanted. You knew the ballpark, so you could work around it. I mean, it's nowhere close to an acceptable excuse as to why you have basically just punted on the free agency, which is what they've done. Other than TJ Slater, TJ Slater, that's Saved by the Bell. TJ Slayton. I actually, like I said, I didn't know who he was, to be honest. And I looked some stuff up on him. Now, the funny thing is, you go PFF, they think he's a great run stopper. You go ESPN, they think he's a terrible run stopper. To me, he's closer to replacing DJ Reader than Rankins was. I mean, you're not going to replace DJ Reader. They should have just kept him. I've said that a million times. But that'll, at least on pass rushes, and this is and get better on the run, but at least on pass rushes, he will keep the quarterback from stepping up, because we had that too many times where they would step up and second and whatever and run for the first down,
Yeah,
So
I think it was. Sorry, I think it was Max Murphy, who is Miles Murphy's brother, who's very active on X. He basically said, his biggest strength. I don't know if he put it this way exactly, but basically he is a blocker eater.
Yeah.
Right. He eats up other blockers to free up other players. And that's what the Bengals have been missing. And I think they're trying to recreate some of the stuff that they had in 21 and 22. You had, DJ Reader and Josh Tupou, right? Two huge guys that helped you out in the AFC North for the middle of your defensive line. Both of those guys are gone.
Yep.
You had BJ Hill and Larry Ogunjobi kind of all rotating in different spots there. Ogunjobi kind of a nose, but also, he gave you a lot more pass rush ability than traditional nose tackles. So I think they're trying to recreate that when you now have another big body in McKinley Jackson. You now have Slayton in the fold, and then you bring back BJ Hill. Maybe you draft a Walter Nolan, right, for that other spot to rotate in. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, that sounds a little bit closer to what they were doing on that defensive front in 21 and 22. You bring back Osai. I thought that was a smart move, especially since he started to come on towards the end. You now have Miles Murphy in there. You probably need another edge rusher in the draft somewhere, probably within the first 3 or 4 picks at least, I would think. But I think if you get a Walter Nolan, if you're not going to do more in free agency, you get a Walter Nolan, you rotate him in there with BJ Hill, you have McKinley Jackson, you have Slayton in there as your kind of run stopper, big body guys. Maybe things start to improve and hopefully exponentially in the run defense game.
Yeah, and the thing is, now you're on here, brings up Joseph Osai's press conference, was very impressive. Very impressive. I'm a Joseph Osai guy. I like him. I'm glad they're bringing him back. AC, this would happen. If he would have left, he would have went somewhere and blown up. He would have, because he feels like he's on the verge. He had his first fully healthy season last year, and he was starting to make progress and get to the quarterback. Now, I'm not saying he is going to be the be-all, end-all, and him and Murphy were fine. We got to get some more pass rushers, which if you get Nolan in the interior, and then you can go, which the draft is deep, you can get a edge that could be on the rotation. If you have 3 guys, Murphy, Osai, and whoever drafted the second round, and Trey, then you have a rotation. Then you have guys that enough guys that hopefully can get pressure on the quarterback. And the other thing I want to do is get some snaps off Trey, so he's healthier and more and fresher going into hopefully our playoff run is what we got to do. So if you can add at least 1, maybe 2 more pass rushers to this, that would help along with keeping Trey. Now, Bengal Rick, he said on the show, because he talked to a real estate agent, a friend, that apparently his friend is helping Trey Hendrickson and his wife house shop. So
in the area, there you
in
go.
Cincinnati, yeah. So take that for what it's worth. He said it a couple times, and so that's where once he started saying that, which I'm not saying Bengal Rick's a liar. I don't even know him. It's the same Bengal Rick. But I just have a feeling that Trey's going to stay here. If you get Becton, and then if you could add No, another one I like to go get is Calais Campbell. I as far as I know, the Bengals aren't even talking to him. But he's 38, but he'd still be a good guy just to add on here for depth, help the younger guys.
That's a great locker room guy too, by the way.
Exactly.
Great locker room guy. Yeah. Going back to the Trey thing, I was going to say, it sounds counterintuitive to, let's extend Trey and then let's cut into his snaps but at the same time, he's on the bad side of 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do want to prolong his career and productivity, maybe again, not so much even this year so much, but maybe the next year, if you do keep him around for a couple more years in a new contract, maybe you have this guy developing behind him and can rotate in here and there to keep him fresh, make sure there's not injuries, and prolong the productivity through that contract, potentially. So you can never have enough pass rushers. I was on a conference call a couple weeks ago with Daniel Jeremiah with media members and stuff, and we were talking draft, and I got to ask him a couple questions. But one of the things he started off with is he called this draft class a starters draft, not necessarily star-studded and superstars with all the quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff. It's a starters draft where you get quality starters. And he said he had 24 defensive linemen that he graded with starter potential, starter ability in the NFL. Last year, he had 12. So, yeah. So that one, when he started off the bat with that, I was like, whoa, that's a big deal.
We need a beer. Yes, Andy. I need a beer. Andy McLeese from Brick Brewery, who's the creator of Jack by Joey beer. Yes, I need a beer.
Oh, nice.
So, So that gives me hope that it's gonna be a backhanded comment, but it gives me hope that the Bengals won't screw this draft up. There's too many guys.
Well, they can't. They can't.
No, they can't screw it. They got to get it right. But there's too many guys that are starters on the defense side of the ball for them to miss, and we only got 6 picks.
Well, yeah, that's why you can't mess around. You can't do to me, this isn't the draft where you say you draft the, Zachary Carter's. Is he an edge? Is he a tackle?
Yeah.
Is he a guard? Is he a tackle? Is he a center? Is he a guard? Get the guys, you cannot mess around with projects right now.
No,
you have to get the guys. And, I mean, even as weird as it seems with only 6 picks, if there's an impact player that you feel you need to climb up a little bit for, do it.
Yeah. And to me, like I said, Nolan is the pick for me. I know we need edge, but just having him next to Slayton once we signed Slayton, I was locked in on Nolan. So, and usually I'm locked. Last year I was right. I got it right. I was locked in on Mims, and they got that one right. A couple years, I haven't got the 2 years before that, I didn't get it right. But that's who, if he's there at 17, that's who I'm trying to get. And if there's chance he might go sooner, I might go up and try to get him, because I think he would be a impact player for us.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's necessarily going to start right off the bat.
You don't need him to.
No, but by the end of the season, he's starting to get more snaps. And again, another thing, we signed BJ Hill, but BJ does better when he has less snaps. That's when we had the rotation of him and Larry O and DJ Reader. They do better. The guys are getting older, and if the fresher they are, the better they're going to play. And I'm not saying take 300 snaps away from him. Take 2 or 3 a game away from him would be fine for him and Trey. It just helped.
Well, you've seen now the valuation of getting guys all over the line that can disrupt in the league, and the interior pass rushers, the interior disruptors are really getting a lot more run in the league. And we've seen how interior pass rush has, gone against the Bengals with their problems on the interior of the offensive line in recent years. So, I think they need to fortify that, get a nice rotation up front. And maybe, again, that's why they're not so active with some of these other guys that we wanted to see them bring in free agency, because they feel that they can get a few of these many defensive line starters in the class that could come in and impact you right away. I want to go back, though, because I thought there was a really interesting and maybe even telling statement. Someone talked about they really like Joseph Osai's press conference. He said something that really made me just kind of stunned, in that he made a comment saying, as a defense, we didn't really buy in until the last 5 games.
Right. That was interesting.
I don't really know what he meant by that. I would love to ask him to expand upon that comment, because I don't know if that was they tuned Lou out. I don't know if things were too complicated. I don't know if they needed a fire lit under their ass to win all those games at the end of the year, and that's what it took. Mm-hmm. Maybe a combination of all of it. I don't know, but I thought that was a really interesting statement he made at his press conference.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wish someone would have followed that up. Like, what do you mean by that? Because the last 5 games they played totally different. I mean, it wasn't like they did go from a shitty defense to a dominant one, but they went to a shitty defense to one that could actually stop some people, and they made some stops, some pretty important stops down the stretch there. So yeah, that bodes well. And BJ Hill said it on his press conference that that they know they can play better because of how they played the last 5 games. So they know it's there. And the thing is, I'm wondering, I'm curious with like what you said, is what happened, because Lou said he dumbed it down or whatever. You know, he something happened because the defense started playing better. It's very curious of what happened.
Well, everybody who struck Geno Stone, he had a nice ending to the year. Cam Taylor-Britt started to play a little bit better down the stretch. Jordan Battle, he was one of the more consistent players on the defense when he was out there, but got more time. He started to show improvement. Miles Murphy flashed at the end. McKinley Jackson started doing some things. I remember that Browns game, he forced that fumble, I think. So someone said it feels like it was an indictment directly on Lou. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Maybe it was. Maybe they're just.
I just thought that was. I just thought that was a really interesting statement.
Yeah. Now, one thing. This is a good question here. Chris got up here. We need a number 1 guard on the draft. Who is that? And your thoughts? And to me, I mean, that we can get. So a lot of the guards aren't going to be there at 17, and I don't think we're going to draft a guard at 17. I think it's going to be defense.
No,
it might be second round at the earliest. A couple people have thrown some names out there. Who do you think might be there? That they can get?
I think you look at the guards, the guys that definitely stand out. You've got Booker from Alabama. He's an interesting guy. Banks from Texas. That guy gives you guard tackle versatility. You've got Jackson out of Ohio State, and then you've got some other guys. Again, I really like Ratledge. I thought he tested way better than I thought he was going to. He's got the most glorious mullet I've ever seen. So I think that
you should draft him just because of that.
And here's the thing, and it's number 1, the Bengals have a really good relationship with the University of Georgia. They've drafted a number of Georgia players over so many years. Here's the thing that may appeal and may work better for the Bengals should they draft Ratledge as opposed to any other team, is he would be planted right next to Amarius Mims, who he played with at Georgia. And those two know how to communicate with each other. Those two do a lot of different things. There are a lot of good things on film that I've looked at with Ratledge. Even in, quote unquote losses, he still kind of regains his footing and whatnot. I don't think, if you're looking for, the next Hall of Fame, all pro, I don't think he's like a Max Montoya type of guy or anything like that necessarily, but I think he's a high floor guy. I think the ceiling still is relatively high for him, and I think he's steady, and I think putting him next to Mims long-term would make a lot of sense.
Yes. So there, like I said, there is guards there, and I could see that happening in the second round. Now, brings you to my next one is linebacker. What are they doing with Pratt? I'm kind of so surprised he's still here. Do you think they're trying to bring him back to the fold? Do you think they're waiting till they actually have his replacement? Because that's the whole scary or the surprising thing with guard. They cut Alex Kappa and didn't have anybody, which that's not a Bengals thing to do. They're holding on to Pratt, I think, until they find a replacement, I think. What's your thoughts?
I think that one waits a little bit. I think they want to see what the figures are for the wide receiver contracts. And then they maybe kind of bounce back into free agency outside guys again. I think Burks is a guy that can come in and play a role on defense as well. But I think that one may wait, and that may wait even until the draft, right? They may shop them around the draft because they focus in on a linebacker or two in that class and say, okay, now we've actually got our replacement or replacements in hand. We can then look to strike a deal with Pratt. I don't know. He obviously wasn't very I don't know. He has seemed in the cryptic tweets and all kinds of stuff he puts out. I don't want to say dissatisfied, but I don't know. There just seems to be a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah. He seems checked out and done with the Bengals to me. That's where I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think you get much for him, honestly.
No, that's the thing too.
I don't.
Right. And that's where he wants to be traded, so he keeps his money. If the Bengals cut him, I mean, he get his money he already has, but the future stuff he wouldn't get. So that's why he wants to get traded and not be cut. So, but that's one. Now the I can't remember the guy's name who signed for the Eagles, the linebacker,
Oren Burks.
Oren Burks. Thank you. I think now that was perfect. A Bengals move where Akeem Davis gave for left, and then we heard him signed Burks. So that's what normally the Bengals do. That's why I think he's a replacement for Burks. I don't think he moves up to LB2. He could he's going to have to if we let Pratt go and we don't address it. Maybe we address it with a rookie, in the third or fourth round. He might have to. What's your thoughts on Burks?
Well, the reason they brought him in is he's known as a sound tackler and can also give you some special teams abilities. So we know Darren Simmons has a lot of sway in player personnel. He's a well-respected coach. So I think he kind of got someone that he can use a little bit here and there on that facet of the game. But the Bengals need more sound tackling. That has plagued them the last 2 years, and it's really been a problem. Pratt has been he's missed a lot of tackles, but he's made a lot of tackles. He's made a lot of big plays for this team over the years and that sort of thing. But again, as I said earlier, I think even though these aren't really splashy moves or needle moving moves in outside free agency that the Bengals have secured, they are back to basics. We got to shore up our pass protection with, from our running backs. We got to shore up our run defense presence, and that's where Slayton comes in. And then, of course, just open field tackling, not so many missed tackles that extend drives, give points when they really shouldn't have happened. And you have to have the two guys they brought in. When you look at the AFC North, you're going up against Derrick Henry, huge back.
Yeah.
The Steelers like to run the ball. Warren's a little guy, but he is a physical guy. Najee Harris was there, and he's now in LA.
Yep.
But and then Cleveland, when Chubb was the guy, I mean they ran the ball like crazy. So in this division, you have to be. Yes, it's about the great quarterbacks that are here as well, but you have to be able to defend the run, and that also includes a guy like Lamar Jackson who uses his legs and gets in the open field, makes guys miss all the time. So you have to shore up tackling. You have to have a presence up front, even if these guys are role players. They help.
Right. Now, this is one thought. I have had this. I'll put over Keith. Wait, there it is. Keith put up there, said, Ice Anthony, I say sign offensive guard Jenkins, free agent, kick Karras to the other guard, start Matt Lee at center, draft Thomas, Perry, 5th round or 6th round for depth. What do you think of the thoughts of Matt Lee? Because that is a thought. They could put him at center and they could kick Karras over to guard. That is an option. I've said it a couple times.
I like the idea, and Matt Lee, they like him because he was the guy, if you noticed, towards the end of the year, he was tackle eligible. He was the extra guy on the jumbo line, which is interesting because he's not the biggest guy, right?
No.
I mean, you would think it'd be another tackle or
and he's a center. He was a center only, so kick it out there is a different spot.
But that shows the faith that even though it's a extremely limited role, that shows the faith that they have in him. I still think, I think in theory that makes a lot of sense. We haven't heard Matt Lee as the center is kind of known as the communicator, the guy who can, see the field and call out different things and that sort of thing. I think that's where Karras provides so much value at that position.
Yeah.
So I know he's played guard. Karras has played guard. So it makes sense. I would just worry a little bit of that. That's kind of your anchor, your leadership guy on the line type of thing. And, I worry about a young guy stepping right in and doing that. But Matt Lee looks like a really capable player. And I think the long-term plan is for him to start probably at center. I don't know that you would make that move right now unless there's a big dip in play from Karras or something like that. But
Right.
I wouldn't make that move personally right now, but I would like to see a way that they get Matt Lee on the field if he continues to show great growth.
Yeah, because he could be our future center. And I love Tate Karras. I'm not trying to run him off the team already.
No,
But
I know.
Yeah, and it's not ideal. My ideal is I want Becton and go get Scherf is who I like to get, or Tevin Jenkins. Now we have a pastor in the chat here, so we got to keep it clean here. But welcome to the show. He says, what do you expect from Al Golden compared to Lou? Biggest thing I think it's gonna be is blitz. They're gonna blitz a lot more than they used to. What do you got there, AC?
I think accountability is a big a big thing. I think, and that comes in the form of tackling right, doing things the right way. I don't want to say that Lou did that, but you saw things slip the last couple of years. Now, in fairness to Lou, he did lose a lot of players he leaned on heavily, right?
Yes.
Jesse Bates and DJ Reader. And I mean, he lost guys that were valuable to him. So I give him a bit of a pass.
They're foundations of his defense. He lost. Yeah.
And Tupou. I mean, with the list kind of Ogunjobi. I mean, we talked about all these guys. So in fairness to him, there was a lot of player attrition, but I just think getting back to the basics, maybe blitzing, like you said, but getting back to the basics and just playing more sound football. He obviously has a good track record, at least at the college ranks, for turning that defense around nicely at Notre Dame and having them play at a high level. So, we don't need the Bengals don't need their defense to be absolutely dominant. They need it to be competent and play. And get off the field, make that timely turnover here and there, and don't miss easy tackles like we've seen the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, we need more third and longs instead of third and shorts. And I've said this: when we went to the Super Bowl, our defense was ranked 15th or 16th, somewhere around there. So if we can get back to that, we're gonna be okay. That's where now that's a big leap right now, because right now we're not there. You got to add some more interior. You got to add some edge, and I'll keep bringing this up. I think the Bengals are on the same page here. I'm okay with the cornerback room. I'm not one that oh my God, we have to go get somebody. Yes, I love to go get somebody. That'd be great. But if they don't, the bigger pressing need for me is guard play, which I keep hammering that. Interior defensive line and edge more than anything else. I think because if I said this during the season, if you can get consistent pressure on that quarterback and make him get rid of the ball faster, that's going to make your corners even better. And I like the young guys we got, as long as they all stay healthy. And the chances of them getting as injured as they were last year, I think aren't very high, because one room can't get devastated like that again. I mean, it could, but that would be not too often does that happen. But what's your thoughts on the cornerback room?
It's a group of high potential. There's a lot of athletes there, right? A lot of guys with speed, and Taylor Britt at one point was looking like a Pro Bowl corner, and then this last year he was benched, right? I mean, so Turner, he's flashed here and there, had the injury last year, which was a bummer. And then, of course, Dax Hill, you got to figure out what you think you can get out of him. It looks like he may be the slot guy if the Bengals don't retain Mike Hilton. There's more leadership that goes out the door if you lose him too. But obviously we know Mike Hilton does a couple of things really, really well, and then there's some limitations there in coverage and whatnot as well. So I obviously high potential, all high picks. I mean, the three guys I mentioned, a first rounder and 2 second rounders. So there's a lot of talent there. It's how do you mine it out? I think Newton is going to be an interesting player to see how he gets in the mix as well. But I would not mind them, and they love corners, so I would not mind them adding another in the group there. But again, 6 picks.
I'm not against it. Yeah, I'm not against it. Yeah, but it's not a priority, I guess, for me. There's bigger stuff, and I really like Fig. Fig Newton really impressed me last year, and this is what I've kind of thought is two things. I really like Dax. I know he can play slot, and they might put him in there. I really liked him at outside. If CTB can come back, because he started playing better, if he can come back to where he was the year before, And you got Dax and him on the outside. I think that's two pretty good outside guys. And then inside, DJ Turner or Fig, I think, because Fig is really good at covering tight ends. That's why I keep talking about trying to put him in the slot.
The other guy that played well down the stretch, they just re-signed him, Marco Wilson. He's another guy that could provide some nice depth. He's not a starter. He didn't get starter money, obviously, but a guy that, again, special teams guy, can come in on a pinch and provide depth in the position group. I think those young guys, Marco Wilson and Newton, showed some good maturity. Yes. For them being earlier in their careers.
Yeah, Newton was awesome. He was at Bengals Now, Fox 19. This past year, I got to do my podcast right before that, and he was one of the guests. And he was just, it was funny because some of the young kids like, hey, asked what kind of video games did you like playing when you were a kid? Blah, blah. He goes, I just played football. I went outside and played. I was all ball, man. I'm all ball. And just listen to him talk and the passion he has for this game and the maturity. I mean, for, I don't know, 22, 23, 24 years, or however old he is, probably younger than that, to hear the maturity of him, I was really impressed with the young man, to be honest. So he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a good athlete. He made good plays. Yeah, he got burned on some stuff. He's a rookie, but I think he's got a bright future. And I don't know what, I know everybody keeps wanting to kick Dax inside, which it would be fine. I just really like that speed and athleticism on the outside, but I can go back the other way to kick him in on the inside. He's really good at blitzing too. So, and that's where you're going to blitz most of the time. It's corner.
Yeah, that poor guy, between injuries and coaching changes and all kinds of stuff in his career, his short NFL career, he's kind of experienced it all. But so I'm really rooting for him. I hope it works out for him, not only for the team perspective, but also just him personally, because he's been through a bunch of stuff. So, and position changes. It is refreshing to hear what you said about Newton and his approach. And I'm all ball, that sort of thing. And there's some unfounded rumors out there that maybe Taylor Britt, his focus wasn't as sharp as it should have been.
He had some stuff going on.
Yeah. So hopefully he refocuses. Like I said, we've seen Pro Bowl potential out of Cam Taylor-Britt for a stretch of games.
The one-arm interception at Kansas City was ridiculous. One of those athletic plays I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, he almost single-handedly won the Seattle game a couple of years ago, too. And when he went up against DK Metcalf, and oh, by the way, guess who's in the AFC North?
Yeah, I know.
So that'll be, it'll be interesting to see if that, whatever contention continues.
Right, exactly. All right, we got a $5 super chat from Fuzzy Balls. Appreciate it. Uno Cinco, new name. Uno Cinco, if I'm saying it right. New nickname for Jamar and T. There you go, Uno Cinco. I kind of like that. That'll work. We'll have to. I'll tell Chop to print the T-shirts up.
There you go.
I want to bring this up here because Tyson Anderson is going to. I'm not saying this because he's going to join me, but he's going to be at my draft party. But do you think he gets more of a chance to play safety this year? Because I know he's had injury problems, but he's really good on special teams. I like him a lot. Do you think he might get a shot to get some more snaps to safety this year?
Maybe. The Bengals need to, do some different things and go with what worked for him at the end of the year at the safety spots. I mean, it started clicking at the end of the year there, as I mentioned. He's a guy, again, huge, high profile athleticism, right? I mean, his RAS score was like through the roof, if I remember correctly. So the athleticism is there. It's just, can you put it together on a down-to-down basis?
And
I think it's a good depth piece and a good, a good guy to keep around if he stays healthy. The health thing has just been a key. And I think all of that stuff ties in. Everybody's Tevin Jenkins. All of that stuff just scares the bejesus out of the Bengals when it comes to signing a guy with an injury history.
That's why I'm going back to Becton. That's why I've kind of flipped to Becton. That's where I'm at now. It's more Becton, and I want Sharif, I get his name right. But like I said, according to Jesse James, his age is a concern for the Bengals. But I mean, even if it is, you sign. It's a 1-year deal. If you sign him for 1 year and see what happens, and you draft one, and you still can, and you quoted me on this or the show. Mike Petraglia said that they're high on Kirkland too, which I mean, I don't want Kirkland to start, but that's a guy. If you get an older guard, maybe, and he does get hurt, maybe Kirkland can jump in there. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
That is a classic Bengals
totally
lineman that they love, that can play multiple positions, and what is he truly, and hard worker, and all that kind of stuff. That you could go back to Stacey Andrews, that was all over the line, and all kinds of different. This is like a classic Bengals offensive lineman that they like. Scherf has largely played right guard throughout his career. So if you go with Scherf, do you kick him left, or I probably wouldn't do that, because that's
they're both right guards, right? Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, you gotta. That's where I said, okay, is it Becton and Reisner? That would, because Reisner's been largely a left guard. Is that where you go? Is it Scherf? Me, I think either way, if you got both of those guys and you draft a Ratledge or someone like that you develop behind those guys, that's the way to go.
Oh, definitely. That's definitely the way to go. And I did forget that they're both right tackles. So yes, Reisner and Becton would make more sense. And like I said, they have to draft one in this draft. I mean, because you've got to find somebody who you could put there for future. Because even if you sign Becton for 2 years or 3 years, I don't think Becton's going to be that long of a contract. And if you get Reisner, that's only going to be a year. So you got to draft. They're going to have to draft a guy in this draft for future. They just have to. I mean, it's and I hate that. I don't like having to draft somebody. But if you sign 2 guys, then he's not going to be pressed in to start, and that's what I don't want. I want
that's what you don't want. Yeah,
right.
That's what you don't. You want to go in if you have quote unquote needs as a team. You want to go into the draft needing players to develop, needing a player a year or 2 down the road to come in and start. That's the ideal. Not hey, we have no one to start right guard right now. You have and usually, to their credit, the Bengals are pretty good about that. They go into the draft for the most part saying, okay, we've got our starting positions largely settled. Let's figure this out. Let's get some developmental guys kind of thing. And then those guys see the field pretty early in their career, but that's what you want. You don't want the pressing need. We have to find a starter right now.
Yes.
Day one in the draft. That's a rebuilding team. That's what they do.
I mean, unfortunately, they're going to have to do that at 17. If they stay at 17, or whoever they draft in the first round, I think it's going to be a defensive guy, and that guy's got to start either edge or interior, and he's got to, now edge, or excuse me, if you get an interior one, he doesn't necessarily have to start because you have
you get rotator.
Yeah. Now edge, it just depends on how Osai and Murphy goes. If they can. I like Miles Murphy, but I just haven't seen the step that we've wanted. Osai, I've seen the step. We've seen glimpses of what he can do. Murphy, I really haven't seen that yet. I'm hoping to see that. So right now, if you're starting, training camp starts tomorrow, I think Osai is your starting edge, and Trey on the other side is what I think.
It's probably, but you just kind of picture this like on a passing down, right? And you have your defensive front. You would have hopefully Hendrickson, and then you'd have maybe someone like Nolan, right, who can get to the passer a bit, and then you maybe kick Miles Murphy inside, and then you have a guy like Osai on the other side coming off, and so that's where you could say, okay, I think Murphy can be particularly not to say he can't be effective as just a true edge rusher. I think where he may be a guy that is most effective in this in the Bengals defense is on passing downs, kick inside, and expose a mismatch for his pass rushing skills against interior offensive linemen.
Right. I mean, because I don't think he's been some people are like, oh, he's a bust. I mean, for the impact he's made and where he was drafted, you could say that, but I'm not out on Murphy. I don't think he's been a complete bust. I think he just hasn't developed like we want him to. And that to me, that's one of the one of the biggest issues with Lou. I know he got, like I said, we got his pillar core guys taken out of his defense, but he was given 2 first-round picks to develop to be immediate players for us. Once that's what Dax Hill was supposed to be. He was supposed to take over for Jesse Bates. That didn't work. You let DJ Reader go. Well, they didn't have anybody there. They didn't draft anybody, so that's not really his fault. But yeah, Miles Murphy, who when he got drafted, to be honest, I thought he was Trey's replacement. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then they re-signed Trey. So, but he hasn't developed. That's you have 2 first-round picks and you don't develop them to where they're impact players. That's cause for concern.
Yeah.
And that's what has to happen. They got to fix that part.
He also, Murphy helps out in the run game a little bit too. So that's always helpful. I think it's Keith in the live chat talking about Jung Meta. That is a guy I think we've kind of forgotten about, and he really showed a lot of good stuff last preseason. So I don't know what the team's plans are for him. Maybe he is in the mix to get some more playing time as well. I think he's might be a tiny bit limited athletically, but man, he is when at least in preseason, and granted it's preseason ball, but he took great angles to the ball. He wrapped up and made all the tackles. I mean, I'm really interested to see what happens with that guy, a guy that I think we've all kind of quietly forgot about unfairly.
Yeah, well, out of sight, out of mind. So, that's what. Yeah. And the thing is, like you said, he's going to have to, because if we go into camp, which I don't think we're going to camp with the way the team is now, but right now, yes, we need him to step up and make some moves. So, well, I mean, we'll see what happens out. Ken here says, Golden Desires running a 4-3. Who will be the 3 linebackers? That's a good question. That's where I mean, obviously Wilson and the guy we just signed, those
Burks,
thank you. I keep forgetting his name. And then Wilson will be number 1, and Burks is either your second or your third right now. I don't know who that second or third would be. I mean,
you're going to need you'd probably need 4 total guys that are on the field, not at the same time necessarily, obviously, but you need 4 total guys. If you do a 2 linebacker alignment or a 3 linebacker alignment, you need like 4 really reliable guys at least that can come in and kind of rotate in and out of there and do different things in different packages for you. So I don't think one of the best 3. I don't know that person's on the roster right now.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's on the roster.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a draft pick. It could be another guy floating out there in free agency. I don't know, but
who's left in the linebackers for free agency? Is there?
Well, again, not all that much that blows your hair back, because we're almost a week into free agency. But I do think they like Burks. I do think they like Burks. So you'll probably, hopefully he stays healthy and everything. You'll probably see a bit of him on the field this year.
Yeah, right now if Pratt is gone, he's your number 2 linebacker. I mean, just because we don't have anybody else.
Right.
And what I do like,
and I didn't really include him because we don't know the future of him right now, right? I mean, it's like,
Now this is one that interests me because they just released it. Ken brought up CJ Mosley. That's one that I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on. I know he's older. But that's one worth at least. Well, just like Calais Campbell. I mean, I know he's older, but I wouldn't mind bringing him in. Because they could play. I mean, maybe not all the snaps that they used to play, but you put Mosley. Mosley could be your 3rd, and you have Burks and Wilson as your 1 and 2. But I'm just saying, like I said, I'm just throwing names out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's names out there. Jamin Davis, I think he's still available. Outside linebacker, Luke Gifford, Rashad Weaver, Josh Woods, Patrick Johnson, Eric Wilson, Anthony Walker Jr. So I mean, they're not names that are blowing your hair back.
Right.
It's and obviously, teams that run different fronts, they value that outside linebacker that gives you the pass rush. So.
All right, Keith's got another one here. Ice Anthony, another forgotten guy, Cedric Johnson. I got him too. Might be a sleeper at edge, which he had some good plays during the season. So yeah, that's another one.
Depth piece. Yeah.
They're all. That's the thing is they're all depth pieces. I want an impact guy, but I mean, if you can get a rotation of guys who can make plays, I mean, that's a way to go about it too. But just to have, it would be nice to have another guy.
As a pass rush last year, you had what 17.5 sacks from Hendrickson and not much else from anybody else. Nope. Osai had 5, I think, and then it was real bare minimum across the board. But if you could somehow emulate between whether it's a rookie and Osai and Murphy, at different spots on the line or rotating at spots, if you can get the same amount, let's just say Trey is back and he's still around that 12 to 17 sack mark, right? If you could get a collection of guys that can emulate that type of production on different, not 17 each type of thing, but I mean, if you can kind of match, if you can match what Trey is doing with a collection of guys, you have a viable pass rush. So
that's what they got to get to, and they got enough talented guys. They're not lacking talent. It's just you got to get it done. That's where hopefully maybe Al Gold, a new voice, a new scheme can maybe get the potential out of these guys. But I don't know. We'll see. What's Friday? Hopefully tonight maybe we'll have a dual press conference, or maybe tomorrow for Jamar and T. Stat. I was hoping it was going to happen while I was on the show, but I haven't seen anything on it. So
I'm going to call Monday. I'm going to call it Monday.
Monday, yeah, it might be because they. Oh, who was it they signed? They signed somebody. And I'm like, what the heck's taking so long to get the press conference? I can't remember who it was. Oh, was it Gesicki? Yeah, it's Gesicki. I'm like, what's taking so long to get the press conference? I'm like, yeah. Anyway, AC, the Godfather, as always, you were awesome. I appreciate you coming on. Tell everybody where they can follow you, read your articles, your podcasts, and all the millions of things that you do for people.
Well, thanks for having me on, man. I always enjoy our chats. Orange and Black Insiders, the podcast. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it at cincyjungle.com. And then if you like the audio stuff, it's on the Believe Podcast Network. The channel is Believe in Cincy, and that's BLEAV, because we want to be weird and spell it weird. So check that out. We don't go every day, at least on the Orange and Black Insider, but we try and get stuff throughout most of the week for you. You guys hammer it out every day. You guys are the only animals. Animals. So yeah, and then cincyjungle.com for some articles. We've got some cool stuff coming up on the show, and then we like to translate that into articles as well. Some more kind of narrative, background story type of things, and maybe some cool interviews coming up. So keep it to that, and it's on, like I said, YouTube and all the different channels, audio streamers, etc.
Exactly. So go follow AC, go follow the Brain, John Sheeran. You guys do an awesome job. Like I told John, I've had him on the show last couple times. One of these times, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be watching your show, and it's going to have Anthony, the Godfather Cosenza, and John, the Brain Sheeran.
That's why I love you, man. At least everyone's John, the Brain Sheeran. He's the smart guy, and I'm the dummy on the show. At least you give me you give me the title of Godfather. I mean, I'll take that.
You're the Godfather. You're the head. You're the head of the table. The Brain's kind of like your.
I just delegate. Delegate.
Yeah. John's your consigliere, or however that goes. So,
that's awesome.
All right, man. AC, appreciate it, brother. Take it easy.
You're the man. Take care.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Go follow John and AC. They do a great job on their podcast and everything. Crip, I hope you're right. 105. That'd be cool. Tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, my boys, Bengals and Brewers, will be doing a live show at Midwest Best Barbecue. I hope to God Greg does not take his shirt off and rub barbecue sauce all over himself. I don't think that would be a good idea, no matter how bad. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go watch Bengals and Brewers. Earlier today was crazy. But I'll be there just hanging out. I'll bring my equipment, so hopefully if they need it, I'll be there to help them. If not, I'll just be hanging out there, eating some delicious chicken wings, and hopefully by then we'll have a Jamar and T signing. That would be great. Like I said, I am all in on Becton, just from what Jesse James told me. There we go. All right, can't say that. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so show up tomorrow at Midwest Best Barbecue. Jesse James couldn't join. He texted me. He was on the phone with somebody about the Browns, one of his agents or one of his players. So anyway, Jesse, go follow him on Twitter. He's awesome as far as all his information he puts out there. Let's get to the sponsors of the show. and I appreciate every single one of them. They are as followed: Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Check them out. They're on Facebook. It's getting sunny out. The grass is growing. You're gonna need the leftover leaves. I know you got leftover leaves in your yard. There's somewhere in your yard, or tuck up underneath your or in your flower bed behind your bushes, or they're up underneath your deck or something. And you want to get it nice and clean, a fresh start for spring. Give Priority Lawn and Landscaping a call at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook if you message them, or call them. Do me a favor, tell them ICE sent you. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And don't forget, my West Side peeps, go check out Hail Mary's. It's your ticket to the game. Big ass TV screen, beer specials, food trucks. It's an awesome, awesome place. I might be heading there Monday because Monday is St. Patrick's Day. Maybe I'll go hang out there and drink some green beer. I don't know. We'll see. I'm on vacation next week, so I plan on doing a show Monday. I plan on doing a show Tuesday. We're out of town after that. But yeah, join Hail Mary's. And if you ever go there, do me a favor. Tell them I sent you. I always want everybody to tell them I sent you, because that way I know if you guys are listening to me or not. Shout out to Marr Windows and Doors. I got them in my house, and I highly, highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, awesome looking, easy to clean windows. And you can check them out at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. And if you get a free estimate, the man, the myth, the legend, Jackpot Joey Inventor himself, Matty Myers, will show up, and you will get to see the official Jackpot Joey mobile. Now, a couple things coming in for some live shows I got coming up. Reds opening day. It's here in about 2 weeks. I'll be broadcasting live outside Moorline Logger House. It'll be me and the boys. The boys are Joe Farsing, Neil Meyer, Harrison the comedian. We'll also be joined by comedian Billy DeVoe. So come on and hang out with us there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because the night before that, I will be inside the Moorline Logger House for the Reds community event. Be some special guests on there as well. So make sure you guys join us for that. And then draft time, baby. The NFL draft I'll be live at MLT's Mountain Lookout Tavern right there in the heart of Mountain Lookout Square. Tyson Anderson will be joining me along with the boys again. They'll be there. I'm not going to be on the entire draft. I'll be on from like 7 o'clock to maybe 8-ish, maybe a little longer. We'll see how the shows goes. But we'll be on there talking draft. We will be hanging out all night doing Bengals trivia, giving away some prizes, and find out who in the hell the Bengals are going to draft. I hope it's Nolan. And then keep it going, people, because the next day, show up at the Foley Warehouse for Project Game Days draft fundraiser in support of individuals with disabilities and military vets, trying to get them to Bengals games. It's $30 a ticket. Get Foley, Midwest Best Barbecue, Bengals collectible raffles, Cincy pop-up show, and they just announced yesterday that Jordan Battle will be there as well. It's April 25th, 6 p.m. to 11. You can reserve your tickets. Give Venmo to them at Project Game Day or PayPal, projectgameday@gmail.com. So we got you covered for the draft, opening day, all kinds of cool stuff. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend. If something happens over the weekend, I will jump on and we can celebrate T and Jamar being signed, celebrate them signing Becton, Brief, Jenkins. I don't know. Just go get a guard, 2 guards, please. That'd be awesome. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, hit the button. I've been live streaming on ZTV, YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. You can follow me on all those. I think that's everything. 267 people are watching. You guys are awesome. Make sure you subscribe, hit the thumbs up. I'm out of here. Throw it up, people. Remember, Who Day for life. And that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Weekend nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry icy's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal, feel the pulse that's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers striking big.